Today we will discuss the topic of verbal violence is scary. Verbal violence is the act of using words to hurt, insult, threaten, or degrade the value of others. This is a form of mental violence, causing psychological damage, directly affecting the confidence, sense of security, and self-esteem of the victim. Examples of verbal violence include cursing, insulting, using vulgar, insulting words to humiliate others, using words to cause fear, threaten to harm yourself or others, using words to control the behavior and thoughts of others, spreading false information, damaging the honor of others. Verbal violence leaves serious consequences both psychologically and physically. Victims often feel sad, lonely, overly anxious, and lose confidence in themselves. Negative words make victims feel unworthy, not good enough. Victims with PTSD will relive traumatic memories, avoid situations involving violence, and are always in a state of high alert. Low self-esteem. Victims often underestimate themselves and do not believe in their abilities. Feeling isolated, they tend to withdraw from social relationships and feel lonely and lost. Physically, insomnia, sleep disorders are one of the common symptoms of people who are victims of verbal violence. Prolonged stress caused by verbal violence can lead to physical health problems such as headaches, stomach aches. Reduced immune system. Chronic stress weakens the immune system, making victims susceptible to other diseases. Victims have difficulty trusting others and building healthy relationships. Verbal violence can cause cracks in relationships with family, friends, and colleagues. Stress and anxiety affect the ability to concentrate and work effectively. Victims may try to avoid situations where they interact with the person who perpetrates verbal violence. Verbal violence has long-term and serious consequences. There are many reasons why people use verbal violence against others. Due to psychological problems, anger, stress, some people may lose control and use words to release negative emotions. To hide feelings of inferiority, insecurity, some people may attack others with words to assert themselves. People with psychological disorders such as personality disorders, depression may use verbal violence as a way to cope with their problems. Due to living environment, growing up in a family with verbal violence, children may learn this way of communication and use it on others. A disrespectful social environment where verbal violence is accepted can also encourage this behavior. Cultural factors such as discrimination. Verbal violence is often used to discriminate against minorities, people with disabilities, or people who are different. Some people use verbal violence to control the behavior and thoughts of others. Some people do not know how to express their emotions in a healthy way, so they use verbal violence. Other factors that can contribute to the use of verbal violence include substance use. Alcohol and drugs can increase the likelihood of using verbal violence. Life pressure, work pressure, study pressure, family pressure can make people easily irritable and use verbal violence. People with aggressive personalities, hot-tempered, or low self-esteem can easily use words to hurt others. When faced with pressure from work, study, or personal problems, some people may vent their anger on others with words. The anonymity of social media makes many people feel free to say hurtful, offensive words to others. The influence of media, TV shows, movies, video games with violent content can have a negative impact on the psychology of viewers, especially children. Jealousy is one of the common causes leading to the use of verbal violence. When a person feels jealous of another person, they may experience negative emotions. They are angry because others have things they want. They are frustrated because they feel they are not as good as others. They are envious of other people's success. These negative emotions can lead to verbal violence such as criticism, put down. They try to lower the value of others to feel better about themselves. They intentionally spread bad news about others to damage their reputation. They constantly compare themselves to others and point out other people's weaknesses. By putting others down, they feel more important. They want to get revenge on those they feel have wronged them. They want to make others suffer the way they feel. How to deal with verbal abuse. Keep your distance, limit contact with people who frequently use verbal abuse. Do not respond. Do not let them drag you into arguments. Focus on yourself. Find the positives in life and work to improve yourself. Being verbally abused is an unpleasant experience and can have a profound impact on your mental health. Understand verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is not just about swearing, but also includes behaviors such as insults, threats, and insults. Recognize your emotions. When you are verbally abused, you may feel sad, angry, anxious, or scared. Accept and allow yourself to feel those emotions. Share with someone you trust, a loved one, or a mental health professional. Build self-esteem. Remind yourself, you deserve to be treated well and negative words do not define you. Focus on your strengths. Remind yourself of what you are good at and what you have achieved. Make time for activities you enjoy, such as reading, listening to music, exercising. Respond tactfully, no matter how difficult it is. Try to stay calm when facing the situation. Be confident and assertive. Make it clear that you do not accept their behavior. Arguing can make the situation worse. Dealing with verbal abuse takes time and patience. To prevent verbal abuse, we need to raise awareness, understand verbal abuse, and its harmful effects. Always treat others with respect and courtesy. Create a positive environment. Create a healthy living and working environment where violence does not exist. We should not use verbal abuse against others. Verbal abuse is a deeply damaging act that can have long-term consequences. In any form, whether it is teasing, criticizing, insulting, or threatening, verbal abuse is unacceptable. When we use verbal abuse, we are contributing to creating a toxic society where people do not feel safe and respected.